What's up everyone and welcome to the club. In today's video, we're creating a sketch illustration of a werewolf. Welcome back everyone and thanks for joining me today. For this lesson we'll need our sketch pad and a pencil. I'll begin today's sketch off with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick, but you're welcome to use whatever you'd like. Now the first thing we want to do is break down the basic shape and proportions of our drawing before we get into the details. So I'm going to start by sketching a line coming down the center of our page. So start at the very top in the middle. Just going to lightly work my way down towards the bottom using these short lines. Let's move back to the center and draw another line going across from left to right. And these lines are going to help us align our drawing. Now I want to use these two lines to help us create a large circle in the center of our page to define the size of the head. So from that center point, let's move up to the top right about here. I'm just going to mark this off with a short line. Now we can measure this distance from the center point down towards the bottom and do the same thing. Let's repeat that across this horizontal line. So measuring the distance from the center over towards the left and then the right side. Now I want to connect the center point of each mark with a curve to create our circle. So we're going to start with the top left. Just going to loosely work our way around, and the circle doesn't have to be perfect. We're just using this as a guide. Now with our circle and guidelines in place, we're going to start blocking out the facial features. Let's start by leaving a gap in between the eyes. So from that center line, let's move over towards the left. Draw a straight line going up. Let's measure this distance over towards the right and do the same thing. Now I want to extend this all the way down towards the bottom of our circle. Let's start adding some shape to the eyes. From this point, I'm just going to curve the brow, coming up and in. Now going back to the inside, we're going to draw a straight angle line, going up and then out towards the outside of our circle. Let's tuck the pupils in underneath. So on the left side, we're going to draw a small half circle, coming down and then up. Let's line that up on the right. Now we're going to move out, curve this down and in towards that center line. And we're just going to round out the bottom, coming back towards the inside of the eyes. Now from the bottom of the eye, let's curve this in and then down towards that inside line. Right here, draw a straight line going across the top of the nose, close off the bottom with a half circle. Just underneath the nose, we're going to draw a straight line going all the way across the top edge of the mouth. Let's go back to the top corner of the nose. We're going to curve the muzzle, going around and then in towards that bottom line. Now from these 2 points, we're going to draw 2 straight lines coming down the mouth. We're just going to open up the jaw and we'll close off the bottom with a straight line. Just connect the bottom corners with a half circle for the chin. Now I'm going to go back to the outside of our circle and curve the cheeks, coming down and then in towards the muzzle. Now let's curve the jawline, coming in. Let's bring this all the way down towards the bottom of the chin. Now from here we're going to go all the way back up to the top and add some shape to the ears. Let's start from the outside of the eye, go all the way up towards the top of our circle. Just going to angle the ears, going up and then out. Do the same thing on the right. Just going to line this up. Give this character some long ears. Now let's bring this down and then in towards the side of our circle. Along the top of the head, we're just going to build out the fur. We're going to go across with a curve and then back down. Let's go to the outside of our ears. We're going to curve the back going out and then down. Let's add some volume of fur across the cheeks. Starting from the outside of the ear, curve this down and out towards that center line. And then from here, it's going to bend this down and then in towards the chin. Now that we have the rough sketch of our character in place, let's go back and clean this up by erasing some of these guidelines. Now once we finish cleaning up our drawing, I'm going to use this rough sketch as a guide to help us layer on some more details and refine the shapes. Let's start back at the eyes. We're going to start by adding some fur texture across the inside of the brow. I just want to brush this across and then out, going above the eyes. Now from the brow, I'm just going to brush this out and then up. Just adding a little bit of texture along the bottom edge. Just going across the eye. Now right here at the end, I'm just going to bend this out and then down. Just bring this fur going across and then out. And then we'll go back and just define the pupils. Just going to round out the edges. And then in the center, just lightly draw in a small dot for the pupil. Now in between the eyes, we're going to add some folds and wrinkles, coming in just up above the nose. Let's add some fur across the bottom edge of the eyes. I'm just going to lightly darken up the inside of the eyes going around the pupils, and then we'll fade that out. And we're just going to rough this in. This is the shadow area. And we'll go in and start adding some more shape to the nose. So we're going to add a little point coming down the center at the top. Just work our way down. Now we're going to add in the nostrils. Just curl this around and out. And come in towards the middle. Just adding a little split in the center. And we'll darken up the nostrils. Now across the edge of the mouth, we're going to add some wrinkles. I'm just going to pull this up. Just layer this going around the muzzle. And then from the top of the nose, adding some more wrinkles going around. I'm just going to add those teeth along the side. So I'll add the big ones on the outside and some smaller ones inside. And as you come in, we're just going to flatten these off. Add some shape to the outside edge of the mouth, coming down towards the lower jaw. Just want to just round this out slightly. We're going to expose the gum line. So add those two large fangs on the outside. And add the smaller ones inside. I'm just going to add a little bit more shape to the tongue, coming from the back of the throat, and darken up the outside of the mouth. Now I'm going to go back and add some more fur going around the brow. The outside, coming in. So just going to add these little points. Again, just brushing this out around the eyes. Add a little bit of texture of fur going up the center, going up towards the top of the head. And right here, we're just going to add a fur edge. Just going to brush the fur going up and then out towards the ears. Then also brushing the fur going out across the top of the ears towards the tip. Now I want to draw that front edge coming down towards the head. And we'll draw on the outside, just giving a slight bend, coming down. Now I want to stretch the skin along the side. So pull this down towards the chin. Also adding some fur across the chin. Let's separate the fur across the cheeks, going out. Now I'm just going to brush this in towards the face, coming down at an angle. And then from the cheekbones, we're just going to pull this out, just crossing that edge. We're just going to brush the fur going across. Let's add some fur across the back and the shoulders. And then we're going to do one final cleanup before we get into the details and shading. Now we're going to switch to our thicker pencil. This is my 0.9mm pencil, and start adding some contrast. So starting back at the eyes, just want to darken up that edge, and then just taper that out. So I want to see a little bit of that fur going across the brow. then out. And just redefining those wrinkles and folds. Now I want to darken up the inside of the eyes, going around the pupil. Now as we go towards the outside, I'm just going to fade this out. So the light's going to catch a little bit of that edge on the outside of the eye. Draw a little seam going across the edge of the nose, and we want to darken up the bottom, going up towards that highlight. Darken the area underneath the cheeks, and then fade that down. I also want to darken up the back of the tongue and then fade that down towards the light as you come forward. Now with the fur across the shoulder, it's going to soften up the focus so it's not as crisp as the areas in the front. Fade that out and just soften up the edges. Now I'm going to enhance the fur texture using the side edge of my 2mm pencil. So let's start with the eyes. So just going to feather that out. And also across the bottom edge of the brow. So I'm going to bring a little bit of texture and a bit of shading going across the brow. So the darker sides will be across the bottom edge of each shape. And the light will hit the top edge. Also going to darken up the bottom of the muzzle. Now with the fur across the cheeks along this area around halfway, I'm just going to taper out some of that fur. Just going to go out. And then go a little bit darker across the bottom. So we're pushing the bottom of the jaw in towards shadow. And pull some of that texture from the outside coming in. Darken up the back shoulders. And then we're going to go back toward 9mm pencil and just enhance that texture. Now, as we get closer to the end of our drawing, I'm just going to tighten up my shadows and detail, and always be sure to sign my artwork. And that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of a werewolf. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you do, please be sure to subscribe for more videos each week where I'll show you draw different subjects just like this. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.